Hello everyone, this is Dr. Lalit Mittal from Giggles Clinics and my own space. I am the founder director of Giggles Clinics. I am a neurodevelopmental pediatrician. Now, I am here very happy to announce the launch of my first book on concise review of evidence-based biomedical interventions in autism. Now, this book has been basically prepared in the terms of interventions, what are there for autism in relation to biomedical, what are the myths and facts, and it will be a very useful resource material for any person, whether it is a parent or a professional or a healthcare worker who is working in the field of autism for the betterment of parents and for the child. Now, this book has been divided into two parts. The first part talks about the core features of autism, and then in the second part, I have divided it into the interventions, what are there and what are the facts and what are the possibilities, the ups and downs, advantages and disadvantages. So if I go on to the first part, it talks about the various core features of autism. Now, this is the core features. If I talk about the core features of autism, so the first part is being divided into insights of autism spectrum disorders. A brief on autism, what are the causes of autism spectrum disorders, the problem of gluten and casein, which is very much there in children on spectrum. So, what are the possible causes, how we can work on that, understanding the food reactions, then importance of carbohydrates, importance of glycemic index. Now, yeast issues is another big problem. There might be a lot of humming, uncontrolled laughter. So, what are the possibilities of yeast infection? How we can explore that? Then, GI gut disturbances, gut dysbiosis, which is another a big comorbid feature which is present in majority of the kids on autism. So, what are the possible issues which we can arise in children's spectrum? How we can work on that? What is the literature? What is the latest evidence? Then heavy metals is another very controversial topic, whether it is an association with autism, whether it is a consequence, or whether it is a cause of autism. So again, it has been described in detail briefly about the various heavy metals like cadmium, aluminium. What is the role of hair metal toxicity, or what is the role of hair metal analysis? Because nowadays we also go for hair metal analysis. So what is an association between hair metal analysis, blood toxic metals in relation to autism? So what is the literature is what is the latest literature says about that, and what are the recommendations? Then what is an association between oxalates and autism? Now going ahead is about the sleeping disorders. Now sleeping disorders is another big problem in children's spectrum. How we have to manage them, what are the causes, what are the different types of sleep disturbances pattern which we can observe in child. So do every child on a sleep disturbance should be going for an EEG? So what are the benefits, what are the non-pharmacological approaches, and then going for the pharmacological approaches. Now coming down, if we go out, then we come on to the biomedical interventions. What are the different types of biomedical interventions? Talking about B6 magnesium, what is their role, what are the latest research, and what are the various literature in support of the role of B6 magnesium. So whether it should be given or not. Similarly, talking about B12, and we also have a word about B12 injections, whether it should be given or not. It's a word about the brand of protocol. So it has been described in detail about B12 positive and negatives, and what are the latest recommendations. Role of vitamins and minerals, role of essential fatty acids, omega-3 and omega-6, carnitine, L-theanine, and caffeine, which can play a very important role in mood alteration and mood swings. So, what is their role? How useful they are in comparison to the commonly used CNS stimulants like methylphenidate? Then a role on flavonoids. What is the stage of quercetin? Whether they are an experiment level, whether they can be used in clinical studies, and what are the outcomes? What are the various studies which has been done in relation to quercetin? Then a word on probiotics. Probiotics is prebiotics, and probiotics is something which has been really everyone of us are very fascinated to know more and more, because a lot of research is going on probiotics and prebiotics in managing gut healing or gut issues in spectrum. So it has been described in detail about probiotics, prebiotics, then the role of fructooligosaccharides, GOS and FOS, the role of human milk oligosaccharides. Now this human milk oligosaccharide is some unique prebiotic which has not been explorated and which has not been talked much about. So it has been described in detail how useful this prebiotic can be. Then a role on symbiotics, role of antifungals, whether they should be given in every child, what are the indications. Chelation therapy, again a big controversial topic. Should chelation therapy be given? Because many a times kids have been given oral chelators. So is it recommended? What are the guidelines? And when chelation should be given? Then GFCF diet. Should every child be on a autism should follow a GFCF diet? What are the indications in which child subset of autism should we follow a GFCF diet? So it has been described in detail how we have to approach that. What is the rationale of using GFCF diet? What are the evidences of GFCF diet in terms of studies, clinical trials, what has been done? Another important topic is what we call about fecal microbiota transfer, FMT, and hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So how useful and how harmful it can be, what are the advantages, what are the pros and cons. So I have described in detail about all these things with pros and cons about each of these interventions, and then a take-home message, whether it should be recommended or not. Similarly, about the fecal microbiota transfer, then melatonin, which basically is not considered to be a pharmacological approach because it's available over the counter. As been it is hormonal therapy. So, what is the latest evidence about melatonin? How safe it is? Whether how should we recommend in every case of what is sleep disturbances or not? Then cannabis oil. Now, cannabis is another important topic of discussion, which has now been going into a lot of research in terms of autism, because many studies have found to be useful, some have not. So, what are the So, what are the latest recommendations as per the CDC, as per the other authorized bodies? It should be recommended or not. So it has been again described in detail, taking into consideration this another important topic. Then stem cell therapy, again an important topic because nowadays many and many parents are being, approaching for stem cell therapy in autism. So should it be given? What are the indications for stem cell therapy, or it should not be given? So what is the take-home message in terms of stem cell therapy? That has also been described. Now, after describing all these things in detail, we have now summarized our book by writing the biomedical interventional studies which has been done till now in the field of autism, with their evidence, with their remarks, with their positive outcomes, with their negative outcomes, so that we can get to know an idea that what are the various possible interventions which has been done in autism till now and how useful it can be for the kids on spectrum. Because very little is less is known about biomedical interventions in autism in India, and very less, doctors are also, approaching toward this biomedical intervention. So it's just an effort from my side to just know and enhance our knowledge in terms of biomedical interventions in autism. And this book is available on e-commerce website. It is available on Amazon. It is available on Flipkart. Even the Kindle version is available. So it will be a useful resource material for any person who is working the field of autism. Thank you. Thank you very much.